Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Muse Jester. My name is Junior. Let's talk about 112 scale vehicles. These vehicles that you're seeing in your TV right now or in computer, on your screen is made by three different companies that I wanted to talk about: Hasbro, the His Tank, a HasLab exclusive, which is $299, um, which you can't get anymore; the Vamp, which is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, as you can only order from the Hasbro Pulse. That's going for $99. I believe they still sometimes open up orders on this one, so you can still get it occasionally. The Valaverse Vanguard, which is an open order right now for $185, and the McFarlane 1989 Batmobile, which you can get from Amazon still for $75, and it comes with a figure. I am not including the Batman the Animated Series Batmobile from McFarlane, which I believe retails for $99, and you can still probably get it now at retail value. I'm not including that because actually that is a reissue from the DC Direct line. So they already had the molds for that one. McFarlane didn't have to do any kind of design work or anything like that. So technically, it's not a McFarlane uh, vehicle. That came out, what, 10 years ago now? So I'm only including this one. I am also including or factoring in the Batman Forever Batmobile that does come with lights. That's for $99 with a figure. Um, but we don't have that yet. So we're just going to base it off of the McFarlane. So let me preface this with the fact that I don't like McFarlane figures anymore. I am not a completist on that anymore. I'm actually considering removing the over 100 figures that I purchased from him from my collection display, just so I can make room for these vehicles that are kind of eating up a lot of space. But let's put this out on the table. This vehicle, the 1989 vehicle, is basically blowing my justification rationale when considering purchases of 112 scale vehicle. What do I mean by that? This thing is like $75. It looks good and it plays well. Now, this actually has the Ramen Toys CAG set, which is an additional $30 purchase for me. So it looks good right now, but the original look of it was kind of iffy with the duck face canopy, right? But it's still $75. It's not that bad. It looks well. It feels good. It's got enough play feature in it that it just basically goes really well with your 112 scale figures. So McFarlane actually is the one company, even though it's kind of weird the way he's doing his pricing for the figures. It just doesn't make sense to me. But the McFarlane vehicles actually are really well done. The value to price is really high for me. Meaning that if the price is set at one, I would say the value that you're getting for McFarlane vehicles is set at around 1.5. This is a one at 1.5 right now with the lighting. If the scale is correct with the Batman Forever, it would be going to like maybe a 1.75. It would go higher if it had better lighting, the Batman Forever one, because it's a greenish tinge instead of the blue. Like it sets the bar up there, right? Now, the His Tank, which you can't get anymore, at the time of its initial offering, it was $299, and I felt that was way too high. I almost did not buy the His Tank. The only reason I finally kicked into the His Tank was because they finally offered Cobra Commander Cartoon Accurate as one of the tiers. And I just had to buy it at that point because we never knew at that time if it was ever gonna get released again and all that stuff. And with the His Tank, the way I valued it, I took into consideration the fact that it's coming with three additional figures aside from the tank driver. So the pricing that I had for those three additional figures at the time was $25 each, meaning that in the end, $299 minus the 75, the His Tank went down to 225 value, 225 price. The His Tank comes with a lot of accessories, a changeable cockpit to change the design, a changeable tank thread skirts to change the design, a missile turret system that goes on both sides, a lighting feature that goes through cycles to make it look good. That all went down to the 225 value. That made it more easier to swallow the price that at the time of purchase. Now here comes the Vamp. A few months later, maybe a year later, at $99, and it plays very well. I like it. When I reviewed it, my evaluation of it was the value was sitting at around 1.25 compared to the price ratio of 1. I enjoyed it. The price of 100 was low enough that I felt comfortable customizing it. Customizing it, I mean cutting into it, changing stuff. The price was good enough that I felt confident cutting it up that I won't be able to destroy it. But then again, I'm used to customizing things. I've customized my own His Tank. I've customized my own Fang helicopter. So I'm used to that kind of stuff. And you guys might not be. So the $99 value of this, what I did to justify it, take out the 25 for the driver, so that's 75 for the vehicle. That's not bad. I really enjoyed the Fang. Now here comes Valorverse with the Vanguard, and I'm comparing it to the His Tank, and I'm thinking, and I'm looking at it, it's like, you know what? I really do enjoy the Vanguard for what it is, for what it brings into my collection. For one thing, I don't have any nostalgic connection to the Vanguard, unlike the His Tank, unlike the Vamp, right? Because the Vamp and the His Tank, they're an iconic vehicle. The Vanguard doesn't do that, doesn't bring that with it. And yet I'm still happy with what I got. I feel like with the Vanguard from Valorverse, you're getting what you're paying for. It's a nice vehicle, nicely designed, very well made, constructed well. But with the Vanguard, the ratio to the value is a 1-to-1. I'm getting exactly what I'm paying for, and I'm happy with it. I'm satisfied with it. The Vanguard is higher, even though it's a slightly smaller vehicle, because of the features that I got from it. One, the nostalgic kick. Two, there's enough elements in the Vanguard, in the Vamp, where you're basically going in and out of the vehicle. There's a lot of visual stuff going on with the Vamp. The stickers are already applied into it. A lot of different colors, from the translucent blue of the headlights to the brown that's sitting on top of the hood, the yellow from the clamps on the front of the vehicle. There's enough visual color differences that draws you in and out of the Vamp, compared to the Vanguard, where you're seeing a lot of tan. The only color breaks are coming from the muzzle flash and the green from the ammo canister, right? But it's so small that your eyes are just being drawn to the boring tan that's offered initially. But it's still good though for the price. So that's why the Vamp value kind of goes higher than the Vanguard, because visually You're just going in and out. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in that one. So even though the Vanguard came in last out of the three offerings of Hasbro, McFarlane, and Valaverse, the because of how I feel about it, it's set the base price um, and justification when I'm purchasing vehicles now. So now, when I think of my purchases of 112 scale, I now think of in terms of what did I get from the Valaverse Vanguard that I'm expecting from these 112 scale vehicles. Let's talk about Ramen Toys tank, the desert tank, and the bread van. Now, I already purchased the Ramen Toys tank at 150, and I am going to buy the bread van, the 18 version. Now, the bread van, the basic offering from Ramen Toys is $99. The bread van, the 18 version, will not be offered until August 30th. And I am getting the 18 option, which means it's not going to be the $99 basic version. I don't know what the pricing is, but what the way I'm justifying it now is, if the base price for the Vanguard is 185 and I'm happy with it, with Ramen Toys, what is killing Ramen Toys right now in terms of value is the shipping price. The shipping price is $50, and I know they're coming from Asia, but regardless of that, I have to pay shipping for it, so that's really gonna devalue the price of their product. So even though I bought the tank from Ramen Toys at 140 or 150, and it's gonna probably scale well with the Vanguard or the His tank, the fact that I have to add in $50 shipping, it basically jumps the price of that product to $200, which is pretty high. Um, Now the tank does not come with lights. The bread van will not come with lights. It's got very basic features, which is what the Vanguard is right now. It's got very basic features and accessories at 185. So the tank, the way it is right now, sitting at 200, it's slightly higher than I'm comfortable with. So we don't have the tank yet. We haven't had a way to play with it, so I can't really review it for what it is right now. Now, initially, I wanted to get the Ramen Toys offering of the bridge version and the mounted missile turret system version, but the way they offered it, it didn't play well with. I didn't really like it because you have to get the basic tank version and then you have to make the separate purchase of the accessories, meaning that you have to pay 200 for the tank because of shipping, and then you have to pay an additional for the accessories, which was, I think, like 50 or 60 bucks or 70 bucks depending on the version, which basically means the tank was going to 270, and that's pretty high in my estimate and my justification. It didn't justify it for me, because remember, the His tank with the lighting, with the accessories, with the one figure, with the changeability and the size, is now sitting at 225. And Ramen Toys' tanks, they don't have any nostalgic feel for me right now. They're just tanks. And honestly, now that because of what the Vanguard brings into play, and the way I'm justifying the prices now, I'm feeling very, very confident of what Hasbro can offer in terms of their vehicle. In fact, I'm feeling so confident that I really am very happy with my purchase of the Rattler choice that I made. I bought two of the Rattlers at 350, 349, because if it's comparable to what I got from the his tank, meaning I get the lighting effects, play features, which means the missiles and the missile effects and the firing effects and all that stuff is included in, I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think I will be very happy and satisfied with with that, because right now the vamp is sitting at 1.25. The his tank, which initially when I got it, I was like, I'm okay with it. I'm happy with the purchase and everything. And here's how I justified it. Instead of that, now the his tank is sitting not only at a 1.25 value, it might actually be sitting at a 1.5 value compared to price ratio, because of the lighting, and because of the changing the canopy, because of changing the looks and the missile turrets and all that stuff, which are all kind of comparable to what the Rattler offers. And we'll see now, we'll determine now how I evaluate the Dragonfly once it comes in. Okay, so that's where I'm at with how I'm justifying my purchases of the 112 scale vehicles. We have to take into account also the fact that I'm running out of space. I don't have a lot of these to play around with. Now, obviously, what I'm like I said, what I'm telling you right now, what blows these justification rationale when it comes to this 112 scale vehicles is the McFarlane offering, because McFarlane, I don't know why how he's doing it, but he's coming out with $80 freaking vehicles. I mean, I mean by $80, because I'm taking out the value or the pricing of the figures that comes with it, which is Alfred, $100. Take out the Alfred figure for 20, but it's got lights and it's got scale. It doesn't have any kind of paint application, but that's an $80 vehicle. How is he doing that? I don't know. I'm glad that he's offering it. Initially, I liked McFarlane figures. I bought a bunch of it, but then for the same irrational justification he's putting on these vehicles, he's doing the same thing in reverse with his figures, because now his figures are going for $30, and there's not a lot of value in those, to the point that with McFarlane figures, his pricing is higher than the value that I'm getting for his figures, which is the reason why I'm no longer buying McFarlane figures. I'm being very, very choosy in the figures that I'm buying from McFarlane. His figures is not doing anything for me. But his vehicles are like higher value in terms of the pricing. In fact, with McFarlane, the 1989 vehicle, even with the Ramen Kag set toys that I'm putting in there, I would value his vehicles at around 1.5 to 1. Even though it doesn't have a lot of paint application, this one doesn't have any lights. It's just the price is so low on McFarlane that it widens the gap. You know what I mean? Let me put it this way: if Vanguard sets the price at 1, and the value is at 1, the Vamp, the price is at the level 1, but the value is 1.25 because of how it looks, the play factor, but no lights. The Hiss, again, the price is at 1, but the play factor, the lights, the accessories puts it up at 1.5. The McFarlane vehicles, the price is below 1. I would say maybe at 0.75, and then the value that you're getting from it with the lights, and I'm talking about the Forever version. Well, okay, let's talk about this one. So the price of this one will be below 1. It will be at 0.75, and the value, because of the nostalgic kick, the sliding canopy, even though this has been changed, would be set at around, I'm gonna say, because of how good it is, regardless of the duck canopy that originally came in, the value on this one would be setting at around 1.1, maybe 1.2, meaning it's higher, the gap from 0.75 to 1.2. So I don't know if that's making sense to you guys. That's how I'm seeing it. It's just McFarlane is just like below the standard. Like in terms of pricing, the pricing of McFarlane vehicles is below the pricing standards of what's being set out there right now. So that's my that's how I value it. Honestly, if you guys are setting your expectation of 112 scale vehicles in terms of pricing to McFarlane standards, you guys are not going to be happy with how Vanguard, the Hiss, and the GI Joe stuff is being priced, because I don't know of any other company that's able to match what McFarlane is doing. I don't know how he's able to do it. Um, Probably it's just his profit margin, that he's not putting a lot of profit margin when it comes to these vehicles, and that's kind of cool that he's able to do that, which makes it all the more egregious the way he's doing with his figures, because his figures are reversed. It's the price is higher than the value you're being offered. But if you can do that for vehicles, why did you suddenly change that with the figures? Because before it was different. The price that he's got on it at $20 was good for the value that you're paying, that you're getting, you know. So that sudden switch, it just doesn't make sense. McFarlane just doesn't make sense when it comes to these things. That's why I almost didn't include the McFarlane vehicle in this one, but I have to, because it's here. He did a good job on the 1989, and I think he's gonna go do a good job on the Batman Forever. I did not get the Tumbler because I feel that doesn't look good, and the exclusivity that he put in that he put it on only on his website, and the Amazon one that's being offered is the Tan Combat version. That kind of sucks. I just didn't like that. That kind of, the way they did that, it also plays down on the value. The fact that you can't get the Hiss anymore does affect the value in this one, because it's a really good vehicle, and I kind of wish, even though I already have one, that Hasbro would break the exclusivity of the Hasbro HasLab, that they offer it again sometime down the road. But anyway, that's my quick talk about 112 scale vehicles. Guys, we should be happy with the fact that we're finally getting vehicles that are really, really good, and they look good with each other, for our 112 scale vehicle figures. Unfortunately, these are big toys, so it's gonna eat up a lot of your display functions. But hey, if you can afford it, or if you can afford a place to display it, like, you know, we're fortunate that we are in these times at this point. So that's it for my video. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, because the next video that's gonna come up is Cobra Commander Once a Man, and then the Mezco. But more specifically, my next big talk video is gonna talk about 112 scale figures, but the higher price ones, meaning the Mezco over there. So my next big talk, we're going to be talking about 112 scale figures that are in the $100 range. Are you guys in for that? Are you guys dipping your toes into $100 figure that are 112s in scale? We'll check out and see. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon, and goodbye.